Okay, Randy, this question will go to you first. Each of you, are you in favor of eventually relocating the water treatment facility from its current site to property adjacent to the airport? If so, how would you fund this move with the current estimated price tag being in the $25 million range and growing? Also, what is your vision for this property and the Big Blue site to best optimize both taxpayer value and community aesthetics?
I have done it. I have met with Rob Bolton and talked about this issue of relocating the sewer and water. And it's not something that he and I ought to make as a decision. It needs to have a full study. But very quickly, it costs about $30 million to move it. It's got some outstanding debt now of I'm going to say about 15. The technology changes are not enough to really say that you're going to make a lot of money or it'll cut expenses if you move it to something new. So our plant right now is efficient, and it wouldn't be more efficient if it were moved. What we do have facing us is a problem. First of all, you don't really want to have water and sewer on the lagoon. You just don't. But now is not the right time to move it. If we don't move it and we keep it where it is, we'll pay off debt and we'll be able to use that extra cash flow in order to take care of our infrastructure. We have a lot of infrastructure that's 100 years old, and so we have a chore ahead of us to replace those things. So I think keeping it where it is for a number of years, fixing up our infrastructure, and then moving it later on, maybe 20 years from now, into an area where we can move it and we'll have some new technology that we can use with a new plant, but not now.
Thank you. I'm in real estate as well, and I'll tell you that's some very valuable real estate. I think at a point in time where it makes fiscal sense for the city to discontinue those services and switch them, I would be in favor of that. And I'd like to see some community planning sessions where we can all decide what the highest and best use for that property is in the future. And I'm sure we all have some creative ideas. It's not a big concern. What is a concern is this electric issue. And when we talk about, I'm going to use the rest of my time for this, when we talk about this partial sale and the make whole number, the experts started out at 65 million, and then they came down to 47 million. It was a quick retreat. These numbers are very fluid, and it really depends on who you're listening to. Ironically, with the All Requirements Project payout of 33 million, the discount rate that was used when it was applied to the model used by the Utility Commission actually makes the make whole number 23 million. So 30 million starts to look pretty good when we're talking about the fact that we can keep the city of Vero Beach whole with $30 million and all of the opportunity that we have to use that in a creative manner. I mean, God, ladies and gentlemen, this is like the Publishers Clearinghouse guy coming to your door and you turning him away because the check wasn't big enough. So, I'm telling you, this is a huge missed opportunity. If we let time pass and we don't take this deal, then the value of the lines and poles is going to be worth a fraction of what we're talking about here. We need to complete this.
I would love to see the sewer plant moved. Financially, it doesn't make sense at this time. I don't want to wait 20 years to move it. I think we need to take a comprehensive look at it, see what's best financially to do that, to lower the debt, maybe do some incorporating or get some standardization of rates with the county so that we get some relief to our citizens. At the end of the day, my very stance is I want our citizens to have more money in their checkbook at the end of the month than they did last month. And we need to take a strong, hard look at the water and sewer system in the future to do that. We're doing that with the power now. I'd like to see that plant moved at some point when it makes financial sense to do that. And I'll work towards that.
The water and sewer business is well run. As has been mentioned earlier, the cost of moving about $30 million. At this time, that $30 million can be used in better areas. At some point in the future, if it's advisable, I would have input from the community as well as leaders to make that decision. As far as looking at the property for Old Blue, again, you want to take the opportunity to ensure that you have access to the lagoon, which is important. But if there's an opportunity where you can have business that supports that efficiency, I would take advantage of that. In regards to the discussion with the partial sale, I would just say, from the legal point of view, we've been down that road. I think the opportunity should come back so that we can look at the opportunities to have a good deal that benefits everybody. So, thank you.
Well, the sewer plant, as everybody understands, is going to cost about $35 million to move it. I am solely in favor of looking at it again in 5 to 7 years when some of the debt's paid down, so it could be moved maybe efficiently. I know that Mr. Bolton is being very proactive with the step system, and so before long, everybody will be off of septics and onto the sewer system, and then once we've done that, as somebody said, I don't recall who, the technology will be different, and we can actually look at having a really smooth running system. The use of the property really is up to the residents. It's my understanding that once the Big Blue area is cleared and leveled and grass is put there again, a certain area will be available for the residents to begin using, and that's a wonderful thing because I really think their use might dictate the future of that property. But that property does belong to the citizens of Vero Beach, and they should be the ones that decide what happens with it. Oh, sorry.
I am not in favor of changing anything with regard to that plant at this particular time because the cost is so high and we still have debt service on it, so that would not make any sense to me to address it at this time. And of course, in the future, it's prime real estate, and it's also a place where the community hopefully can enjoy the lagoon. I'm assuming we're going to get that cleaned up, and we'll all be able to enjoy the lagoon again. But in terms of, to mention briefly that these things end up costing more than we expect. We're already running into that with the power plant, okay? Mr. Fletcher, he's head of transmission and distribution, was supposed to give an updated report this past week at the Utilities Commission meeting, which the city canceled. So I didn't get to do that. But he's already, this is for this fiscal year, with regard to removing the power plant, it's over $800,000 that we're spending this fiscal year, and for next fiscal year, we're budgeted for $700,000. Now, it might have gone higher because that's not the most recent number, that $800,000 something. But that $800,000 is $200,000 over budget. Okay, $600,000 was the original budget. So these things always end up costing more than we think. And the other thing is, we have a real problem, and it certainly became apparent during the hurricane, and that is in terms of reliability with our line. We are at the juncture now. We have to make serious decisions, and I'm talking about selling the entire system, not just a partial sale. It was presented at Utilities Commission that they need $21 million over the next 20 years just to keep the lines, just to keep the lights on, basically. So we have very serious decisions to make very soon.
Okay, this question will go first to you, Lang. And some of you have already addressed this partially, but we just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on where everybody's position was. The current sales contract agreement with Florida Power and Light expires on December 31st of this year. Are you in favor of voting to extend the sales contract? And if so, how would you advocate dealing with a FMPA departure moving forward in order to ensure a full sale to FP&L gets legally completed? If not in favor of extending the sale date, please explain your position as to why you feel that is the best path taken.
Thank you, John. I am in favor of extending the FP&L sales contract. I think there could be some caveats there with openers, but I think it's important that we keep an open dialogue with FP&L, and we need to complete this sale. I've alluded to this a few times now, but I'm going to keep harping on it because I think it's the most important point that we can make here today for those who are interested in actually completing a full sale of this utility. We have an opportunity now. The time is right to get leadership that is united on our city council to work with all of these other entities and bring a unified front to the state. I don't know about you, but this is not a 99-year lease. I've never signed an evergreen contract. I've never signed anything where I am held in perpetuity. This is unconscionable. I truly believe that we can find a solution either in the legislature that helps us work towards an equitable exit or in the court systems. And I'm willing to explore options on either front. So please know that on November 8th, a vote for me is a vote for an advocate that wants to actually complete the sale. How long have we been working on it? How much time is spent every city council meeting with banter back and forth that gets us nowhere? It's really time to bring leadership to the city council and present that. That's been the missing piece. The missing piece has been the city of Vero Beach. Everyone else wants to get this done. Let's bring real leadership to the city of Vero Beach, and let's elect candidates who actually want to get this sale complete. Thank you.
Initially, I had some reservations about extending the contract, but the more that I've gotten involved in learning about the FMPA and reading their contracts and trying to understand this issue as a whole, I have to tell you I'm in favor of extending the contract to an extent. It's obviously going to have some changes taking place, but we're never going to get to a complete full sell if we don't extend that contract. That's a very important issue that we need to do, is extend that long enough to allow our representative with Representative Grohl and Senator Mayfield to do something legislatively. We've got some action at the state level to go against the FMPA, and I want to make it perfectly clear here that if I'm elected, I will do everything within my power to hold the FMPA to task. We need to do battle with them. We need to solve this problem. It affects everybody's checkbook in this community and outside this community. So we have to fight them. And one way to fight them is to extend this contract and allow the opportunity for the will of the people to be done. That's what we are. We're elected officials to do the will of the people, and they've been clear on this. This is another avenue to hold the FMPA to task and complete this transaction.
My understanding from the sale of the total Vero Beach Electric is there are a total of, I believe, 4 contracts that are binding. And those contracts have been taken all the way to the Florida Supreme Court and found to be valid contracts. I would join everybody up here and dance a jig to get out of the Vero Beach Electric. But there comes a point, and there's been plenty of expertise that have looked at this contract and said that there's an opportunity, or there should be another way to approach it. Now, I'm not real sure what that is. It may be to extend the contract, but the indications that I've received is that possibly that's not the best course of action. But the idea to go to Tallahassee and to put pressure on FMPA to look at the way that they manage the FMPA and municipal utilities is a sound idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. So the question is how best to proceed forward. And at this point, if the experts come to me and say, let's scrap this contract and begin again so that we have more opportunity to exit, then I would go that direction. So again, let's do what's smartest, what's in the best interest of all of the ratepayers here at Vero Beach. Thanks.
I too believe that it would be great if we could get out of our FMPA contracts. Unfortunately, many years ago, when they were first signed, it was because FMPA came together to create an avenue for the shortage of power in the state of Florida. We no longer have a shortage of power. we are not the only cities that have FMPA. There are 31 of us, I believe. It is an ironclad contract, and because of it, we own 3 plants. We own like almost 1/32 of every little power plant that the FMPA has built. I am all for going the legislative route to have the FMPA. They've gotten extremely powerful. I think when they first started, they may not have been. Excuse me, may not have been, and it's just something that's escalated, and in 12, 13, when we started looking into it, we were all for the sale. Everybody was. People were angry. We didn't know that we were so tied in, and we do need to find ways to get out. And whatever we can do, I think I'm behind it 100%.
Yes, I am very much in favor of extending the contract. FMPA is a monster that was created by the legislature. The legislature can bring the monster to heel. We have very strong allies right now. We have Senator Lakbala, we have Debbie Mayfield, we have Aaron Rawl. We can't afford to be the weak link in the chain. We're ground zero here. If we don't stand strong, we don't chase them, they're going to have them breathing down your neck we're not going to even live long after some of these contracts end. And guess what? No contract is ironclad. We just renegotiated the OUC contract last year and changed all the terms. So believe me, you put a little pressure on them, they feel you breathing down your neck. And just remember, the people of this city stood there for 2 hours on August 16th to speak in favor of the sale. God bless them. Let's do it. We can absolutely do this. Because you know what? If you don't, you know what you're going to get? In fact, you're going to get it this month. You're going to get a 1.3% decrease in your bill. And it's not a large enough decrease for you to notice. So they're going to put a stuffer in with the bill. And I advise them not to, because it's just kind of just an insult to people's intelligence. They're going to put a stuffer in the bill to tell you that your bill is lower. I was like, why don't we just lower the bill enough so that people can look at the bill and know that it's a lower bill? Right? Wouldn't that be the logical thing to do? Let's do it. We can and we should, and let's do it. Thank you.
Before I got into the office, I spent a long time going around and trying to get my hands around the whole electric thing, because it's by far the most complicated part of Vero, and by far the most contentious thing. I met with Florida Power and Light. I went up to OUC. I went up to FMPA. I spent time there. When I got on the council, I asked to be the representative on FMPA's board. I've spent a lot of time on this. I've spent endless hours on this. I conclude that I don't see a way out of it. I mean, extending the contract's fine, but I just don't see a way out of it. Basically, what the cost of this is high, and nobody has stepped forward and said, I will pay the price. And we have not got a buyer right now. We haven't got somebody that can step in and take the bonds. We need to have somebody who is a municipality to take over the bonds, because they're tax-free. And we can't, and no private company can use tax-free bonds for their power. So I just don't see a way through this right now. Maybe there is some legislative way, maybe there's some other way. I don't see it right now. I don't mind extending this, I don't mind keeping on trying, but I just don't see a way through this yet. And I would like to. This is a business that I don't understand. People like me shouldn't be doing this. We should not be running this thing, but I don't see a way out of this. It's a very complicated business. We've gotten into it. We've tried not to make mistakes, but we've made mistakes. And this is something a city council shouldn't be doing. I mean, it's just too complicated.
Okay, this question goes to you first, Norman. All aboard Florida has been a hot button topic for our community for over 3 years now. And the company trying to complete the project still has not obtained the necessary financing. The county has taken legislative action to try to prevent the project from moving forward? If elected, what would each of you do to feel, what do you feel the city can or should do to try to either stop all aboard Florida or mitigate any impact to our future quality of life here if they do eventually obtain funding?
Thank you, John. As it relates to all aboard Florida, I've got 3 words for you. Cooperation, cooperation, cooperation. We have to work together with other agencies, with Indian River County, and we have to fight this from a legal basis. There's no other way to stop them. The citizens have been clear. They do not like all aboard Florida coming through our communities at a high rate of speed, period. We're here to do their will. And one way to do their will is to fight them legally, fight them legislatively. Cooperate with counties and other agencies and other locations so that we can work to try to stop it. If we don't, then we need to work hard to mitigate the safety aspect. Public safety is important. We need to hold them to task to make sure our communities are safe, to make sure the railways are safe, to make sure the crossings are safe. We need to make sure that they abide by every letter of the contract and the terms of their agreements out there, and we have to do that either legislatively or legally. But we need to fight them, and that's our only way to stop them from coming through our community like this. I am not in favor of having them just run rampant through our community. It's unsafe, and I'm wanting to fight them legally, legislatively, and cooperatively with other agencies.
Norman lives right down the street from us in McCanish Park. And if you're familiar with where McCanish Park is located, it's on the far side of the railroad tracks from the hospital. So it would definitely have an impact on us. And the city of Vero Beach should continue to work with the county and any other agency that would hold their feet to the fire. And if you look at the successes that have been achieved to date with the Army Corps of Engineers, with the legal actions down to the south, some of it has been to our advantage. What we would like to do, naturally, is stop it. And if we can't stop it, then again, mitigate the impact on our community. And any way and every way that we could do that, whether it be with the archaeological grounds that it goes through, or whether it be through the economic or the social impact on the communities like Gifford, or any other aspect, it is not something that is a benefit to our community.
Well, I have called all aboard Florida a sleeping dragon. It's going to wake up one day and it's going to spit fire at us, but I think we will be well prepared to defend ourselves. I believe all of us are probably on the same page with that. If they do get funding, then we need to be ready to say, okay, but this is what we need, and you're going to pay for it. The safety measures, the quiet zones, whatever, should fall on them, not on us to bear. We need to ensure the safety of our community, and we need to make sure that our first responders don't have issues. How we do that, I'm not sure, but I'm sure they're addressing that as we speak in any event. I do know some of our ambulance drivers are a little concerned. As for the rest of the first responders, and we have a hospital only on one side of the tracks. We need to make sure there's always access for them. Thank you.
I'm against the train. I don't think it's safe at any speed. The city is already working on this. I've attended city council meetings where they're trying to make it as safe as they can. I want to commend the county for listening to the people. Basically, we don't have the resources to be involved in lawsuits about the train. We're too busy fighting fighting our neighbors, fighting you actually. I apologize for that. We're too busy fighting you, spending money on that. We can't afford to take on the train at the same time. But you know, I also want to commend the county for actually listening to the people. For those of you who don't know, city council does not. They voted to move public comment from the beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting. And that is such a sore point for me. I just hate it. I absolutely hate that they did that to the people. How can you act in the public good when you're not listening to the public? It doesn't even make sense. You know, I was there for one meeting in April. It started at 9:30 in the morning, and it ended at 4:30 in the afternoon. And there was a woman, God bless her. You know, by the way, you don't even, it was 3 minutes. She just wanted to say something for 3 minutes, and she didn't get to say it for 6 hours. She had to wait 6 hours to speak 3 minutes. And do you know why? This is totally unnecessary. Yes, I would move it forward, but you can move it forward because there's a 3-minute rule. You have to have permission to speak longer than 3 minutes. That's already in effect. That's a total lack of leadership. And this goes back to the job of the mayor, which is to run the meetings. Run it right.
All aboard Florida has been a problem from the very beginning. Early on, it seemed like it was a fait accompli. There was nothing we could do about it. We had no leverage, no way to slow it down. The suits that have been going on have really been productive. Recently, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Federal Rail Administration has been brought back into the mix. And going back and looking at some of the approvals that have been granted to all aboard Florida that were badly done. I'm chair of the Vero Man site, and the train goes right over the Vero Man site. It's on both sides of the train track and right over it. And the all aboard Florida has said it won't affect it, it won't be a problem, but they are doing directional drilling into the site, and they are doing some piling on the site. And so we're saying, please tell us about what you're going to do. Tell us what you're going to do. And they haven't given us plans. Both the Federal Rail Administration and the Army Corps of Engineers have now stopped and said, wait a minute now. We want to know what you're doing, and we want to know what's going on. So not only are they looking at what they're actually doing and what approvals they need, but also the financing has not been straight. So it looks like there's a chance, or a growing chance, that they'll be slowed or maybe even stopped, depending on what happens now. But the leverage is moving once more in our direction, and it's really good.
So if one of the central roles of government is to protect the people, then this is an obvious step. I've been opposed to this project long before I ever declared my candidacy for any office, and I want to take a moment, as Laura Moss did, to congratulate our county and our representatives in this room that have led the charge against All Aboard Florida. This is a juggernaut that we're facing, there's no question. But once again, you know, harkens back to my point about a unified front. We have to be there, we have to be connected to all of these issues. I'm very pleased with the recent coup in the court system, and I hope that we can find that as a linchpin issue and continue to gain traction there. But absolutely, you can count on me to continue to be a leader in the opposition against the All Aboard Florida project. We all know it's about aggrandized freight traffic. It has nothing to do with the passenger transportation. So I think sometimes the aspects of what that aggrandized freight traffic will bring through our community are overlooked, and we don't have the time to talk about them here today. But any of you who have questions on the project or how we can stop it, I certainly look forward to an opportunity to speak with you one-on-one. And my cell phone is available on my website, which is votelangsikes.com. Thank you.
This will be the last question before we go to everybody's just final 1-minute summary. So we'll go to you first, Tony. Our Taxpayer Association focuses on fiscal conservatism while also wanting to maintain the many unique qualities that make Vero Beach such a special place to live. Through that prism, what one issue, not the utility issue, do you feel most concerned about that needs to be addressed and that you bring some experience in dealing with and can be accomplished with the funds available in our budget?
The most important issue, clearly, that's facing the community in November is the character of our community. And retiring back here in 2006, I recognize that we have in our hands the golden egg. The community of Indian River County, Vero Beach, is something that if the nation knew of, we would have to lock the doors to keep them away. And if you look in the press, you can see where that's the case. And so with very little investment, that opportunity to spread the word of what's here in our county would benefit the entire place, whether it's with elite airlines, whether it's with the beaches, whether it's with the summer opportunities for weddings, whether it's with the real estate. And the real estate, Indian River Realtors had a news article or a little blurb in their monthly magazine. The value of a single-family dwelling in this past year went up 40%. The value of a condominium went up well over 100%. So as you're looking at what the benefits of this community is and what we can capitalize, a combination of government and business is the way to go. Thanks.
The city of Vero Beach is very unique, and it's why we all love it. It is small, it offers a lot of things to all of the residents. We have over 120 events a year that are free for the community. As Tony stated accurately, we've rebounded from the, I guess you would want to call it a depression. The downturn, the market downturn, everything is coming back. The one unique quality that we have is our community, and we need to just continue to cuddle it, to keep it the way it is.
Well, when I change, communication. What does it cost? Your vote. That's it. It's my background. I know it. I love it. I love people. I love this community. I know them. I'll be out there. I'm really sorry to say we did a terrible job informing the public about the hurricane. Really terrible. I mean, this was on the city website on Sunday and Monday morning, and it had to do with the power being restored by 5 p.m. the Friday before. It was never updated. Go to YouTube. City of Sebastian had the city manager on YouTube, the mayor was on YouTube, the police chief was on YouTube, everybody was on YouTube every 4 to 6 hours giving updates, okay? Here, I was putting my signs back up on Monday, and I had a woman approach me. She was practically hysterical. She hadn't had power since last week, didn't know what was going on. She recognized me from Utilities Commission. See, we think nobody watches. She came over and she says, City Hall, I can't even get in. The doors, it's shuttered. I said, really? Because it was almost 9:30. And I said, well, it opens at 8:30. She says, no, it's shuttered. I said, all right, well, I'm on my way there. I'll find out about it. And so I went to Utilities. First, it was shuttered. It was shuttered because it was 10 o'clock. And I knew they were open. I know it was Columbus Day, but I knew from the week before because I asked them. I ended up, make a long story short because I don't have the time. I went to the Utilities department, talked to some of the customers. Then I went to talk to Cindy Lawson, and she's talking about disposition. Well, it's disposition of resources. That's why it's shuttered. No, it's slamming the door in the face of the people that you didn't inform. That yes, they're in the dark, but you're keeping them in the dark, literally and figuratively, and that's worse. I would change it.
My background being business finance, my biggest thing here is long-range planning. My biggest thing is trying to bring organization to this that we just haven't done yet. As I said earlier, our city budget is $20 million. The businesses that we run, the electric, the water and sewer, the airport, the marina, the solid waste, those total $120 million, and we don't have long-range plans for those. We don't really have a vision for them all. The airport we do because FAA instructs us to have that. But in order to run the city well and each one of these businesses well, we need to think way ahead, plan out what we're going to do, and then carry out the plans. And have the plans yes, we can't approve a 15-year plan, but we can have a 15-year plan. We can only approve a budget on an annual basis, but we really can do a lot better job than we have been. We've been inundated with this electric thing so much recently that we've not been able to stop and think about how to run these things. And we really should be. That's what I would think would be the next thing we should be doing.
So one of the things, as you all know, that makes this community so great is the outpouring of charity that we have here and actual boots on the ground to get things accomplished. I've been president of Coastal Conservation Association Florida for the last 6.5 years, and in that capacity, I've raised over $500,000 for local lagoon restoration efforts. Water quality habitat is a passion of mine. We all know it's an incredible resource here, and it's so closely tied to our quality of life. But it's time that we get someone with a background that actually understands how to get things done on the lagoon front. We need fiscally conservative solutions. And a part of that is utilizing all of the resources that we already have in this community. There are some incredible cutting-edge projects that are really cheap, and we can fund them. I would like to work with our various 501c3 organizations who have hundreds of members here and organize community projects that are going to have an impact. There are so many different ways that we can actually have a positive influence on the overall health of the lagoon. Look, if I was governor of the state of Florida and had all of that budget and the power to do this, it would still be an uphill battle to fix these solutions. But take it from someone who understands the aspects, all of the minutia, the myriad of issues that we have that are affecting all of this. It's going to take a unified front with all of our local cities and regional portions of the lagoon working together. And I bring that expertise to the Vero Beach City Council. Thank you.
Public safety is important to me. It's important to you. I want to make sure that we live in a safe community. I want to make sure your neighborhoods are safe, your homes are safe, and our children are safe. One way that we can do that is by supporting the Vero Beach Police Department and making sure they have the tools necessary to do the job that we expect from them. One of the important tasks that we have with our children is making sure they're safe when they play in all these beautiful parks that we have. I want to see cooperation within the Vero Beach Police Department with other agencies, with Indian River County Sheriff's Office, with the Vero Beach Fire, or the Indian River County Fire Rescue. There needs to be a level of cooperation with all of these agencies so that we can provide an efficient service and keep our communities safe. I bring a unique perspective to public safety with my 32 years within fire rescue. I've worked with these agencies, I've worked within the budgeting process, I've worked with various individuals that have the same passion for public safety that I have. And I just want you to know that I want to do everything within my power to help the Vero Beach Police Department keep our neighborhoods safe within the city and work with other agencies. I also want to apologize briefly for not talking about Big Blue. I missed that on the question. I believe in a public-private partnership for that property. I believe the citizens need to have input on what we do with that property. We need to generate some tax revenue with it, but the citizens still need to have access to that property. Thank you.
Tony, you can start with the closing statements now.
Again, I think everybody has had the opportunity to get to know me since the 2006 when I retired here. When I came home, I wanted to continue to give back to my community. And I did that as the vice president and president for the Genealogical Society. I assisted them in preparing a history of Indian River County. I went around and I lectured on those Indian River County history. It's important to me. From there, I assisted as the vice president for the Veterans Council and as president for the Veterans Council, and take a lot of pride in that. In addition to that, I was served as the chair for the Veterans Memorial Island Sanctuary Committee. And going out to the island, there were 78 markers there of men from Indian River County. And I bring up Memorial Island because it's not the Vero Beach Memorial Island. It's the Indian River Veterans Memorial Island. And with that, what I'm trying to convey is we are a community of faith. We're a community of people that care about our lagoon. We're a community that is invested in making sure that the future for our grandchildren is as bright as it is for us. And I'm committed to that, and I've spent 30 years learning leadership skills and I have the motivations to serve you. And so I'd like, if you would please, your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Norm.
First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to stand before you and speak today. I'm a fiscally conservative person, and I believe in efficient government. I believe in limited government where the people have the power and your elected officials are the ones that represent you. I want to bring that voice to the Vero Beach City Council. I would appreciate your support on November 8th. I want to cooperate with other agencies to provide efficient government so that the people are heard. We do the will of the people, and we are public service. We are public servants, and I've been in public service for a long time, and I want to continue that in the future. I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
I want nothing more than to see efficient government flourish in the community that I grew up in. I'm looking towards the future of what Vero Beach can be. And we all want to keep Vero and make sure that we retain the qualities that are so special here. But that doesn't mean we can't better ourselves. And that doesn't mean we can't improve and make a better environment here for future generations. That's what I want to see. I'm looking towards the future. I'm a small businessman. And I really look forward to the opportunity to bring leadership to these issues. I'm extremely passionate. I've been working very hard for the last 2 years to show all of you in this community how much I care about these issues. And this is an opportunity to continue to fight hard for all of you out there. Time is one of our most valuable assets in this life, and we don't have a lot of it. So I see this as an opportunity to be your voice and work for you and do the will of the people. And I ask for your vote on November 8th. I mentioned this several times today, but everyone in this room, we have an opportunity to do things, to get this electric system sold. And I hope that you'll spread the word to your friends and family and let them know that there are people who are serious about getting this job done, and I'm one of them. And I do hope to earn your vote November 8th. Thank you.
I've really enjoyed the last couple of years that have been working for the city. I didn't really know the city very well. I've been here since '08, year-round, and getting to know everybody within the city, not everybody within the city, but a lot of the management has been I've been really enthusiastic. I'm just before the hurricane came in, or during the hurricane, I met with the emergency command group and talked to them about all their plans and their planning and how they did it. Then Sunday night I rode around with Ted Fletcher and went from neighborhood to neighborhood, looking at the way things are acting. And this is a really good group to be proud of. I mean, this city has really run well. It's got a wonderful group of employees that are very dedicated, and it's really been a lot of fun working with them. And I'd like some more time to do it.
Thank you for your time this afternoon. I really appreciate it. You've been very patient, and most people have stayed. Thank you so much. I've been blessed to be on the Utilities Commission. It's a hot seat. Well, we'll attest to that. But it's really given me a lot of understanding of the community and the important issues that we face. And we need to get this deal done, get the electric deal done, because we need to lower the rates for the city, for us, for our people. And they are crying for relief on this. And we have these huge reliability issues coming up. $21 million over the next 20 years, infrastructure. One gentleman I spoke with regard to the hurricane, he said, I just got power. This was on Monday, I was speaking to him, a gas station mechanic. He says, my wires have been patched 7 times. He says, already. So they went down, and they don't trim. They're not tree trimming, they don't trim, by me. And it's just, my rate is so high, I'm paying $400 a month for electricity. This is, a gas station. He can't afford this. He says, I could have paid my mortgage many times over if I had a reasonable rate. So we can get this done. We can restore the lagoon. We have, we have a lot of people and a lot of very talented people. We just need to support them, take care of it. We should, if we're going to raise taxes, and I don't think we should, but let's address the infrastructure. As I said earlier, that street paving, it's still underfunded, by the way, by 60 to some odd $1,000. It's still underfunded, and we have roads that are in absolutely terrible condition, I'm sorry to say. And it needs to be taken care of. Basic services, it's so important. Okay, thank you.
I couldn't have been more proud of our employees than I was this weekend. the trucks that were going through, the nights that we had no power, our streets were patrolled every hour with the police cars having their spotlights on. It was absolutely amazing. You said you went, Randy went around to with Ted Fletcher. I was over in the park walking our newly acquired little puppy, and there was Rob Slazak, the Director of Recreation, making sure that the parks were still safe for the kids. I mean, not just his people, but himself. I was very impressed. We have a very dedicated staff. They were out all weekend long. I love the city. I'm proud of the city. I want the opportunity to preserve, protect, and prosper the city of Vero Beach. This is our Vero, our home, and we need to take care of it. And we all need to take care of each other. And I am running for the city of Vero Beach, and not any other city. Thank you.
With that, I want to sincerely thank all 6 candidates that were here today. They were all very gracious. In inviting them, they were all very gracious in agreeing to come here today. They discussed the issues, I think, facing the city very civilly. This is our 8th forum in a row this year, and that has been the case with all the forums. So on behalf of everyone here, thank you for participating today and for being active and engaged in the political process. We really appreciate it. So again, thank you all very much.
Thank you.